Hi, friends.
Hi, friends.
We're back. It's episode 60. What? Of the Brunch and
Yes,
Judge.
it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah, so we did it. Welcome to our After a Long Ass Day at Work edition. Yeah.
And also because we tried to do it last time and our internet sucks. Technology
Technology.
is terrible.
I feel like it's been haunting me for like 3 days now, so I'm like, please, let me just get through this one.
I know. It's like our internet and technology is just like, you have 2 hours. That's it. 2 hours and then it just goes to crap.
You say that, but no, that's fair. So like I had a Zoom workshop last night, and I have all the control because I'm the one that's hosting. But like suddenly everything's freezing up, and I'm like, I can't do
You're like, I
things,
can't
and
do
then
it.
like I'm getting phone calls, and I'm like, holy fuck, and then just like like 5 minutes of just oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. But it was fine. And then today with what is it? Maybe it's a Zoom thing. Because today I'm having problems with Zoom again, but in a different way because it stopped recording, not ours, work Zoom, stopped
Oh, okay.
recording um, the meetings to our iCloud. And they do the board
Oh.
meetings on Zoom so that way people can participate from across the county if they want to. No one ever does. No one cares. But they could. So they have to record it for the transcripts in order to get like the minutes or whatever.
Gotcha.
And it just isn't doing it. It's recording it to the computer, which no one knew that. I discovered that, so at least helped a little bit today. I'm like, it's on the computer, guys. We can just, it's fine.
Huh.
But it's
Interesting.
just stopped recording to the cloud, and we can't figure out why. So, Zoom.
You're like, I don't know what's going on.
So, yes, it sucks. But,
Indeed.
oh, hey, we're your hosts.
Yes.
I'm April.
And I'm Claire.
And I am super excited that this week we are continuing our journey into cults. And Claire will be taking us through a nice culty story. But first, and
Yes.
always more importantly, Claire, what are you
Yes.
judging this week?
Okay. I know I'm always like, okay.
Well, because it's like you're judging. She's like, oh, God. Okay, here's the thing.
Yes. Yes.
No, I'm feel
Okay.
ya.
Yes.
I feel
Here's
ya.
the thing. Yeah. Always. Here's the thing. So as I've let you all know, I'm in a weight loss journey. More like a health journey. Let's put it that way. More a health journey.
Mm-hmm,
Not really.
mm-hmm.
Weight loss is part of it because I need to lose weight, but more health journey. Anyway, so friend, we're, discussing the weight loss and I'm going to like I said, they do other stuff too, but weight loss is one of the things.
Right.
This clinic thing. And they've put me on drugs and all this stuff. There are lots of things wrong with me that I didn't know were wrong with me.
It's good
Blood
to know
work.
now.
Blood work is a magical thing apparently.
It sure is.
So, we're talking about, steps that they're wanting me to take and the calories and the things and
Mm-hmm.
there are certain things that they don't want me to eat. And it's not forever. It's not a forever thing,
Right, right.
So, you know how it is when I'm sure a lot of you ladies out there, if you've tried to lose weight, that when you first start doing it, like you lose a bunch at the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
and then it like stalls immediately. Been there, done that. And it's always like water weight. So, the friend I'm talking to basically is saying, well, you'll just lose a bunch quickly and then you'll probably just stall. And it's just like super frustrating because it's like, "Mm, yes, I know this. Okay. This is not my first rodeo. All right.
Right.
Okay. Obviously not my first rodeo.
Do
All
you
right. I can't tell you how many times, how many weight loss journeys Claire has been on. I mean, if I had $1, I could retire.
well, and
I mean, let's
especially
just
since I know whom you are referring, they've been
right,
around long enough to know this is not your first rodeo. So like,
right,
uh,
right, right. And also the struggle. Like
It's hard.
the struggle that I've had in trying to lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not been easy, you
No,
know.
it has been stupidly hard for you in a way that, like, if I were a complete asshole and was one of the, like if I were a complete asshole about the whole weight loss thing and was all condescending or whatever, and
Right,
then I thought about you, that to me it was alone to make me to be like, no, 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 no condescension here, because like I watch you work your fucking ass off, running and working out and eating like even like the
right,
prearranged meals and doing all the things, and it's such a fucking battle that I'm like, you cannot tell
right,
me that this is not a genetics issue, that you're literally fighting against your body's desire to, hold
right,
on to all the food. It's what it wants to
right.
do. It's
Like those
keeping your
memes that are
organs
like,
safe.
yes, the memes that are like, we used to be fat and like hold
Mhm.
on to fat, like the fight, the fight or flight response, and your body was meant to be like this person, and I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, that's me, that I'm that Renaissance person that's like lying on a couch somewhere that's all chubby. That those are my genetics.
Right. But like those genetics exist because it helped people before you survive. Like that's why you have
Right.
them. They're the survival ones. They
Yes.
kicked Darwin in the testicles and were like, "We did it, bitch."
I know,
So
right?
like,
It's just uh but it's just like I've had the struggle my entire life, like eating, like even when I was eating what I needed to be eating and doing the exercises, I still was not like I always just hit this wall, and it was just
mhm,
like could not get past a certain number. You know, it was always like, this is it. Never gonna weigh less than this certain number. Just
mhm.
always that's gonna be the number I'm gonna be at. And now I've like topped out, like I'm heavier than I've ever been in my entire life, and now I'm just sick of it. And I'm just like, I'm done. I'm done. I've got to do something. And now I'm like on the cusp of 40. And so now it's like, I really need to like
Yeah, I know.
get my
40.
shit together in one sock and
Mhm,
start it before I actually turn 40. That's I know I'm not going to lose all the weight that I need to lose before I turn 40. But it's like getting the like
mhm.
head in the right direction. That's my goal. Start moving in that general direction, before I hit 40. But it's just so frustrating because you get those people who have never been, because also
Right.
this person has never been in that predicament where you struggle and you can't lose it. And I'm not talking about like, oh, I've got to lose that last 5 or 10 pounds. I'm talking about like significant
Right.
amount of weight. you know,
This isn't
more
losing 20
50.
pounds. This is
Yes,
losing 50, 70, 100. This is,
yes,
it's
50 plus pounds. Yes,
it's a big deal. I mean, it's
yes,
not a casual, I'm just gonna cut out soda.
right. Because I've done it. I've cut out soda.
Mhm.
Cut out soda, done it, didn't do anything, you know,
It doesn't
quit
unless you're
eating.
a guy. It only works for
Right.
guys,
Exactly.
which fuck that.
So stupid. So stupid. I know, right? Oh, so unfair. So unfair. And it just, I don't know, like that kind of mentality aggravates me. Somebody who has those preconceived notions about heavy people and what's gonna happen when they start trying to lose weight, and well,
Mhm.
you're just gonna automatically hit a wall. Like, yeah, you're gonna lose that weight really quick, but it's probably just the water weight. So it's like,
Well, and instead, like,
fuck you.
you could
Like,
she could phrase it like, "Hey, that's great. Just remember that you're probably gonna get a lot off in the beginning, then you're gonna hit that fucking plateau that's a piece of shit. But don't let that get you down." That's a different thing to say. And that's not what
right,
she's doing. She's like,
right,
"Well,
right,
you're
right,
just gonna
right,
hit a plateau." I'm like, "Fuck you, bitch." Sorry.
right, right.
Sorry, not sorry.
And I think that's what aggravates me the most about it is it's just like right off the gate. It's like, what? You know, I mean, a lot of the stuff that
Mhm.
they're telling me as far as like calories and stuff like that, it's not rocket science. It's just, I think for me also, it's the medical stuff like yeah, your blood pressure's borderline. We need to get that under control. And, you've got these things in your blood work that we're seeing, which by the way, can I just say, other doctors have told me that they acted like it wasn't a big deal. But oh, by the way, this lady's like, no, that A1C number means you are pre-diabetic. They're just like, oh, just keep an eye on that. How am I supposed to keep an eye on that? I can't draw my own blood, okay?
Yeah,
It's just like,
yeah.
you know, like this is the what I've gotten my entire life is just, oh, eat better, work out more. I mean, at one point it literally was like I cannot work out any more than what I'm doing. Like I was working out before work, I would go to my job. Sometimes I would go to both jobs and then come home, work out, and then literally just go straight to bed.
Mhm.
I mean, that was like I could not do any more working out. And I was like, I don't know what you want from me, people.
Mhm.
It was, it was maddening. Absolutely maddening. Anyway, it's just in the same vein, Natalie, my coworker, told me about this TV show on Hulu. It's an older TV show, which is kind of funny because I've never heard of this. It's called Fit to Fat to Fit, and I kind of binged it. There's only like 10 or 11 episodes, and it was on A&E. And what it is they take like a person who has like kind of always struggled with weight and is overweight, and they pair them with a trainer. The trainer has to gain weight. They got 4 months to gain like a percentage of their body weight.
Oh,
So
wow.
they yeah, they quit working out and they eat like garbage for 4 months. And I mean,
Mhm.
it's like disgusting. Like you're watching it, you're like, "Oh my god." You're like, I've never, you're like you're talking like single meals. And you're like, I have never as a person who's overweight, like I have never eaten a single meal that has looked like that. It's like, oh
Right.
gee. But I
Okay.
mean, they're trying to pack
Right, that's
on,
the point, yeah.
yeah. And so in that form, and one of them had to like actually stop because of a health thing.
Oh, yeah.
So they at that point that they stopped putting on the weight, then it was like, well, we're just going to go from this point. So then they've got like X amount of time to lose. So the trainer has to get back down to what they were before. And then the person that they're training has like X amount of time to lose whatever. They've
Mhm.
got a goal weight to hit. And some of the people actually did okay. And they would like, while the trainer was like putting on weight, some of these people actually lost some weight. So they were already like a little bit ahead of the game when they got going.
Yeah.
But it was kind of funny because these trainers are like, oh, yeah. But the thing is, like, they would make their client do this workout, but then they would have to do the same workout. And these are things that they're like used
I
to
love it.
doing like in their sleep.
And they
And they're
can't do
stuck
it,
in,
yeah.
oh no. One guy like threw up afterwards. It was like, this one guy was like, yeah, I can do 9 of these suicides. And he couldn't even do one. Like he had to like run all these suicides in the sand or something. And he was like, yeah, I can do 9 of these in my sleep, and then he couldn't even do one. And other guy, the fat guy, was able to finish it, but then he threw up. But this
Mhm.
guy couldn't even barely finish one. And I'm like, and what's so funny is they interview these trainers beforehand, and all of them have this mentality of, oh, fat people are disgusting. They're lazy. All they got to do is just get up and work out. And it's as simple as calories in, calories out. Nah, 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 nah. But then it's like, then they, but when they start the eating, and once like towards the end, before they start the workout process again, they're all like, I hate myself. I'm so depressed. I don't want to do anything. And it's like, ha, 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 ha,
Ha.
right there.
Mhm.
There it is. Where it's just like, they're like, I don't want to do anything. I don't like this. It's just like, there it is. There it is. It's not that easy. But then there was one guy that cracked me up though, because even when he started back, like with the working out and training again, it was like he's sitting there and he's like, I'm cheating. I'm eating Pop Tarts. He's like, He's like, "Why am I eating Pop Tarts?" He's like, "Who am I kidding? They're delicious." And I'm just like,
I also
this guy's
fucking
probably
love
never eaten a
Pop-Tarts,
Pop
it's
Tart.
fine, yeah.
He's probably never eaten a Pop Tart in his life. And then that 4 months, he's like, "Oh, Pop Tarts."
I need a Pop-Tart.
I know it was just, like, but like watching that was just kind of like eye opening because it's like these trainers, got to, they've been fit their entire life. They've never had like hardly an ounce of fat on them.
Yeah.
And then it's like eat like garbage for 4 months and then you try to lose it. And it's like, ah, there it is right there.
And it's like,
You know,
that was only 4 months of you having made, I mean, very intentionally bad choices, but, like,
right,
that's not how it works. It's just like a slow little slide. Well, I mean, it's just
right,
easier to pick up fast food for dinner because, it's been a long day and I'm tired. Like, I mean, I get it. I live
right,
it.
right. Yes. And that's basically what it was. I mean, a lot of some of these were like moms who, were trying
Mhm.
their best and others were like, men who were like had weird hours and it was
Yeah.
just a lot of that. And it's just I think that's my judge is people who have preconceived notions about people who are trying to lose weight and what it takes to lose weight and how easy, and I say that with quotes, easy it
Oh,
is to lose weight
so
because
easy.
screw all you people who think that. That's where I'm at right now because yeah, if it was that easy, I mean, you can ask April.
Yes. My whole life, you have been this athletic, working out person.
As much as I hated it, like,
Yeah.
I
But
still
you did
I
it
did it, I
anyway.
hated it.
And I'm like,
I mean,
I've
even when I was
never been
training
that
for that half
person.
even when I was training for that half marathon, like, I'd be at her house, and I'd be like, "Oh, it's Saturday, I gotta get up and run 3 miles, I'll be back."
And I will
And
sit on the couch while you
she's like, "Don't wake me."
Yeah.
I'd come back in, and she's just barely getting up, and she's like,
Mhm.
"Oh, you're back, okay, let's go to breakfast."
Yeah, I ended up with genetics that were prone to be a little chunky, but not, I mean, I thankfully haven't had as much of a battle, but I traded it for all the stupid health issues, so,
There you
started
go.
early with all of those.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, but that's all right.
Yes.
It's all right. Everything sucks. So just give people the benefit
Yes.
of the doubt that, you don't fucking know their lives and you certainly don't know their genetics, so
Right. So, anywho, that's my judge.
that is an
I know that was
excellent
long
judge.
and drawn
Hey,
out, and that was a
I'm
lot, but
here
still.
for it. I am
Anywho,
here for it.
so what is your judge?
So my judge is, I was listening to Prophet of Zod again, and he was talking about
Ah.
more of his, this is his very specific deconversion story, like stuff that he went through growing up. He was talking about the Christian school that he went to, and I didn't go to one, so I couldn't
Mhm.
really super relate. But one of the things
Right.
that he talked about was like the weird rules that they had, like boys and girls had to remain 6 inches apart at all times, and it triggered something in
Okay.
my memory of something like that. And I swear, like, there was a little bit of that. Apparently he also, they weren't allowed to date or listen to secular music or a whole myriad of other things that was
Right.
absolutely
Right.
bananas. um
Uh-huh.
but I was thinking about the whole, like, purity culture aspect about, being pure and whole for your future spouse and
Right.
all
Yes.
that garbage. And I related, unrelated conversation with Spencer. I won't go into all of the details, but we were talking vaguely about porn and how I feel weird about it. Like, I'm
Yeah.
40 years old. I don't Have I seen porn? Well, of course I have. Do I watch porn? No. Do I know where to find porn? No. Do I feel weird about the thought of, like, putting on porn to, like, get spicy feeling or whatever? Yes, I feel super fucking awkward about it. Like, even right now, my face is like, I can feel the blood rushing to my cheeks. Like, the embarrassment is strong, and it's
You probably are
100%.
even like, "I don't even like reading these spicy books, okay?"
Yeah,
Like, when
they've
I read
been,
the spicy books, I'm like,
and
"Oh."
my face gets red as I'm reading the book. Oh my God. And it's 100% from growing up in that, like, purity culture and being bombarded with the message about being addicted to porn. Don't get addicted, and you're gonna get into it and you're gonna get addicted, you're not gonna be able to stop. And I'm like, is it still going on in my brain? Am I still like from all those years ago? Is it still coming at me to be like, April, if you watch it, you're gonna get addicted. You're gonna be addicted to porn. It's gonna ruin your life. It's gonna ruin your relationship. It's gonna destroy your obviously my
You know
relationship
what?
with God's over,
You
but
probably,
and I'm
because
like,
I mean, I feel like I'm kind of the same way. Like it's not, like you said, have I seen? Yes, I've seen porn. Do I know where to find? No, I'm not one of those who goes and seeks it out.
right? Because I'm
It's
like, it's a
yeah,
again conversation with Spencer. I was like, I don't even know where to find it. He's like, you just go to Pornhub or iPorn or YouPorn or whatever all the porn things. Like there's whole like website industries around porn. I'm like, but what if I get a virus? He's like, that's not real anymore. It's
that's
not
not real anymore.
like these are it's like going to YouTube. It's just YouTube for porn. YouPorn, I think, is what it is. Yeah, it's like it's just it's the same thing. It's just people are having sex instead of stupid pranks. Like I was like,
Yeah, yeah.
huh, okay. And he's like, well, you can turn on like incognito mode if that makes you feel better, so you don't get like weird searches. And I'm like, and I'm just supposed to like watch it alone? Is that a
Right.
thing? I don't understand. But I'm like, no, no, I'm gonna get addicted to it. And then I was like, wait, I don't think that's real. Like, I don't think getting addicted to porn. I mean, yes, of course, you can get addicted to anything, but like, I don't really feel like it's
Right.
life ruining because I mean,
Because they made it sound like
right. Well, and so
if you watched porn that you would just and then you wouldn't be able
you
to
couldn't
like
function
have
anymore.
normal sex like ever. Yeah. That
And
you
so,
would that that would be the only way that you would ever be able to get off is to watch porn and
right?
and that you would never be a normal person ever again and you would just porn all
And
the
it was
time and
basically
you'd
like
lose your job.
cheating
I
on your
mean,
relation. Yes, everything. The
yes.
whole world falls apart because you watch porn. So, spoiler,
Yes.
I have, again, my face is getting red. I have watched some porn. More out of like a, God, like I'm dying. This is so hilarious to me. More out of like this is a thing that you can just do and it's fine. And I need to just like stop blowing this out of proportion. And like, it's just normal sex. I mean, I'm sure there's all sorts of kinky videos out there that are not really a thing. I'm not saying
Oh,
there
right,
aren't,
right, right.
but
Yes.
like most of it is just normal people having sex. Some of them have really horrific like storyline things like that you expect
Oh,
because
yeah.
it's porn, and that's my memory of porn in the 90s is that it's like, oh, the FedEx
Yes.
man is delivering his package. That
Or it's like something dumb where it's like I remember once I think it was it I
the
remember
one that
what
we
was
all
it?
watched together
Yes. Oh god,
back
it was so
in
stupid.
the early aughts.
Yes. And then there was one where it's like, usually something stupid where like a trainer comes over
Mm-hmm.
to like help somebody do yoga and it's always that. And you're like, "Ugh, it's so stupid."
So like
Anyway.
they have those stupid things, but then everything else again, guys, it's been a one-time experience, so don't at me. I don't know. Seems pretty just normal, and I'm like, I don't think this is gonna ruin my sex life, but okay. Sure. Um,
You're like,
I'm not really addicted. I still feel super, super, super fucking weird and awkward about it. It's
right.
gonna be a long time before I don't. But then I'm also like, but April, you're like supporting, like you're pro sex workers being a real profession that gets
Right.
benefits and care. Because if you want to do that, the fuck, that's fine. You get to do what you want. Like I don't have any bizarre feelings. Like I don't care if people are in crazy BDSM things or like extreme
Right. Right.
polyamory, like whatever you want, as long as everybody is on the same page and comfortable with it and agrees, that's fine. Adults, go adult your life. Do whatever you want. It doesn't bother me. But I can't watch just Joe Schmo
Right.
having sex with Mrs. Schmo or whatever.
Mission Mrs. Schmo.
Mrs. Schmo. Without getting like really fucking awkward about it. Like it has become kind of a laughable thing at this point because I like again my face is bright red. I can feel it. I feel awkward
You're
about
like, I
it.
can feel the burn.
But like why is this this is the one of those weird things that just like sticks around in your brain because it gets, forced into your brain I mean, obviously I let go of a lot of the other purity culture. I did not wait to get married, guys. Spoiler. Not married. Didn't wait. Um, it's fine. No horrible bad things have happened. It's fine. I don't I mean, I guess maybe my relationship
Oh,
with
but that
God
one they
is
really
ruined,
I think
but
that one they really, like yeah, they really, like, drilled that one in, though, that, like, you
so
would have, like, a
much.
lot of, like,
And it was like weirdly
repercussions as far
uncomfortable
as
because like in like our teenage years, I mean, obviously the internet was around, you could get porn, but like it never felt like super common.
Right,
I mean, like I was like, it's like Playboy magazines were a big deal then still, I guess, but
right.
I don't know that I've ever seen one, but I don't know. It's just weird.
Yes, it is.
So I'm not really sure how to classify that as a judge. Maybe it's just more of a judge of how, you can get things stuck in your brain and it's hard, man. It's been 20 years since I've had any of these stupid purity culture conversations. Like, why?
And how
Why?
that one is, like, still just, like,
Yeah.
wired in
It's
there,
just
and you're
like
like,
wired in there. And
"Why?
I'm like,
Why is this one
it's like I've basically blown off all the
why do
other
I
stuff.
still think that" Right.
Oh,
"Why is this
yoy.
one still wired? I don't understand."
But like that one is like hardwired in there and it's it's so weird.
That is weird.
Oh my god. I just can't undo it. But I'm glad to know that you also have the same hardwire because you're like, no, I don't really do that either. I don't. But so you can watch all sorts of porn,
Right.
Claire. Turn your devices onto incognito mode, and then it's safe
Okay.
to go to the major porno websites,
Okay,
of which
yes.
there are
I'll
many.
do that as soon as we get done with this.
But yeah, so that's my adjust. It's been this past week it has come up because we watched that and because he mentioned something about porn be destroying your relationships or whatever, and I'm like, God, I remember that.
Right.
And Spencer's like, the fuck, what? And
I mean, yeah, that was like a I mean, that was always like a big talking point in youth groups and,
mm-hmm. It came up a
any of
lot
the
actually, looking back.
Yes, yes.
That
And yeah,
it makes me wonder. We did have we had an abnormally large amount of youth ministers growing up for whatever
yes, we
reason.
did.
Um,
We sure did.
and the vast majority of that large group were men. So I wonder if they themselves struggled with
Like, just
that because
are
like
they
they were all like in
projecting?
their they're all in their like their early mid-20s, or most of them were,
Right.
because
That's why I'm like, were they
so
projecting,
I'm
though?
like,
That's what I'm
is
saying,
it that
like
they were, they want to have sex and they can't, and so they're tempted to look
That's
at
what I'm
porn and it's
saying,
taking
yeah.
them, and they're like, oh no, I should be reading my Bible instead of looking at porn. I'm like, do both, do both. It's fine.
Right.
Oh yeah. So there you go. That's my judge. Again, my face is still burning. I can feel it. The lighting is not doing it justice, but like I can feel the heat, like right
Right,
here.
yeah. Well, that's
Mm.
excellent. Thank you for that trip.
Uh-huh. You're welcome. You're
That
welcome.
was a that was a journey.
Hmm. Yep.
Oh,
You're
well,
welcome.
that was excellent. Yay.
So I'm sorry, mom and dad who aren't listening, and Claire's mom and dad who are also not listening. I am the person that you all warned us against growing up. I have become the bad influence. It's me. I'm so sorry. Hashtag sorry not sorry.
April's pulling the Taylor Swift. She's
This
like,
is
"It's me. Hi. I'm the problem. It's me."
oh, I am the person that adults warned me against growing up, and I'm okay with that. I mean, I'm 40. I get to do things now, right? Almost 40. Close enough.
Right.
I'm 40. It's close enough. 40. I'm 40. It's fine.
Why split
Yeah, I
hairs?
don't give a shit.
Who cares?
So there you go. That's my judge. I'm sticking to it.
Well, I dig it.
All right. So I'm gonna just go ahead and do
Mhm.
this week's sweary affirmation.
Ooh, early.
Yes. Well, because usually I want to do it early and then I forget until the end. I'm like, shit, 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 shit.
And then you're like, "Oh,
And I'm like,
yeah,
ah,
okay."
sweary affirmation. So this week's sweary affirmation: trust your badass self. You are fucking brave for trying.
Yes, I dig it.
And I'm like, it feels very apropos to our judge.
I mean, right.
Do it. Trust it. You're fine.
Just do it. Just do it.
All right. So, Claire, what
Yes.
culty story have you brought us for cults?
Because I'm ridiculous and I apparently like to pick the cultiest cults
That I've
to
ever
have
culted.
ever culted.
I love that.
I'm doing I'm doing the Branch Davidians,
Ooh.
also which the rest of the world knows that was led by David Karesh
Very nice.
in Waco, Texas.
I was going to say, I love how I did Wasco County and now you're doing Waco.
Waco. I
Like,
know.
we picked a theme. We like to pick themes. Can you find the theme other than the cults?
But without discussing it.
Without,
So
yes, that's the best. It's like, let's pick similar place names for
I know,
1,000.
right? Right. My sources are Wikipedia, PBS.com, Biography, and all that's interesting.
Nice.
So, David Koresh is not his real name.
No. It never
No.
is. I feel like in every culty cult, they had a different name to start.
Right. It's
That's
like
that's the trigger. That's how you know if it's
they
a
just
cult.
can't like, yeah, they just
It,
can't like be happy with their
no,
name. I
God
know.
forbid.
He was born Vernon Wayne Howell on August 17th, 1959.
I mean, okay, fair.
And
Because Vernon does not elicit a lot of
no. Uh-uh.
feels. I'm feeling like a Vernon is like that neighbor guy that you avoid because he talks too much.
And also, like, I think of Uncle Vernon from Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, anytime it's like, eh.
Mm-mm.
Anyway, he was born in Houston, Texas. His mother was 14 years old
Oh
when she
God.
had him.
Okay, see,
Yes.
again, guys, this is why we have a choice. Because she probably would not have chosen to have a baby at 14 as she could have, and then none of this would have ever happened.
Right.
Just saying.
Her name was Bonnie Sue Clark. His biological father was Bobby Wayne Howell, and he sounds like a real peach
Wait, hold on.
because
Her name was Bobby, and his name was Bobby?
Bonnie,
Bonnie. Oh, okay. I was
Bonnie,
like, what? They're both Bobbies? Okay, sorry.
Bonnie
Got
Sue
it.
Clark and Bobby Wayne Howell.
Okay, well, that's precious. Keep going.
Yes. And he sounds like a real peach because he left Bonnie for another teenage girl while she was pregnant.
Wow. How old was he?
An adult
Ew.
didn't really say.
Ew. She was 14.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay.
Yeah, gross. It's all gross. Yeah. But then it said because this is, the like late 50s. So then it says that she soon began cohabitating with a violent alcoholic guy. So she just like moves in with another adult man who's an alcoholic.
A lot of choices were made.
Yes. A lot of bad choices.
Mhm.
Yeah. All around. Terrible. So just for the sake of it, I'm going to call him David Koresh throughout the whole
Yes. It's just
thing. But
easier.
yeah,
It is.
I'll let you know when he actually like changes his name. But so when Karesh, who was then still Vernon, was 4, his mother left him with her mom, Erlene Clark, and then she, Bonnie, ran off with her boyfriend. So Karesh spent a lot of his formative years with his grandma.
I mean, like, in
And
theory, that should be better, right? I guess not, though. I mean, if you've raised a 14-year-old to all
I
that,
mean,
maybe you aren't really super amazing at parenting either. But okay,
right,
okay.
right. And it's she didn't return until he was 7 years old. And by then she was married to a carpenter named Roy Haldeman, and they had a son together named Roger. And part of David Koresh's deal was that he suffered from dyslexia and poor eyesight, and so he constantly struggled in school. And other students teased him and called him Vernie as like a teasing kind of name.
Okay.
Said he had some musical ability and that he had some strong interest in the Bible, and that he eventually dropped out of school his junior year from Garland High School in Texas. Oh, and he's also a real peach because at 19 years old, he got a 15-year-old girl pregnant.
Well, I mean,
Mm-hmm. Yep. Um, he began going to church with his mom, who was a Seventh Day Adventist. Seventh Day Adventists, they're the ones who they go to church on Saturdays. I took a page out of Judaism. They're into no caffeine and uh, vegetarianism.
I mean, like, I'm here for the vegetarianism, but otherwise it feels
You
culty.
know, remember my episode on cereal?
Oh, I
That
do.
guy,
Oh, I
he
do.
was a Seventh Day Adventist.
Its
Okay,
own little. They're all culty cults. It's fine.
but he was a little extreme.
Yes. Well, yes. He was very extreme.
Kellogg was the Seventh Day Adventist.
Mhm. Every time you eat your frosted flakes, just know they're cult food.
Right. And your graham crackers. But while he was at the Seventh Day Adventist Church, he became infatuated with the pastor's daughter. And he claimed that while praying for guidance, that his Bible just opened to a passage in Isaiah, Isaiah 34:16, that said, "None should want for her mate." And he felt like this was a sign from God.
It's
So
it's
he,
cartomancy. It's the whole you
yeah,
open up a book for it to tell you what to do or the
I mean, yeah,
future or whatever.
basically.
Wow.
Yeah, he just like folds open and it's like, ah, ta-da.
And then we just hit and pick a verse and be like, well, obviously it means what I want.
It means that God wants me to be with your daughter. So that's what he told the pastor.
Oh my god, please tell me how that went over.
Oh, like a turd in a punch bowl. Of course, the pastor's like, GTFO, dude, just
Hard
get out.
pass. Hard pass.
Yeah, absolutely. He's like, no, you're bananas. No, because he's like, I think God is telling me that your daughter is gonna be my wife. And that pastor's like, I don't think so.
I think there's some error in your communication.
Right. Pastor's like, nah, bro. No, that's not
It's like
happening.
God told me no, that's not
Yeah,
happening.
God told me no. That's
Just
not
like
happening.
right now, his voice came into my head and said, absolutely not, no.
Right. But apparently Karesh was one of those who's like, no doesn't mean no. So he was persistent. And eventually the pastor had to like expel him from the congregation. I mean, that's like, that seems
That's big. That's a
extreme
big
to me.
deal. It's like,
I
you have
know.
to go. We're gonna
We are like
excommunicate you.
legit kicking you out of the
Hmm.
church, not just, yeah. And so he went out to Hollywood for a little bit, which that also seems to be a thing for me. Because even Manson did that, like went out to Hollywood,
I
tried to be a rock
mean,
star.
gotta.
Applewhite did that. Like he wanted
Hmm.
to go like try to be a an actor. But yeah, Karesh wanted to go be a rock star and that didn't really work out. So 1981, Karesh moved to Waco, Texas, where he joined the Branch Davidians. So,
Wait, 1981?
Mhm.
That's when the Rajneesh came to Wasco County. We are really on topic. How do we
I
do this?
know.
Okay,
I
keep
don't
going.
know.
Amazing.
I know.
We don't
It's
try. It's just
we don't.
magic.
We really don't. Um, so the Branch Davidians is an offshoot of Seventh Day Adventist. It was founded by boy howdy. Let me tell you about this. This is their own little culty cult. I mean, before he ever came
Cult
along.
within a cult. Got it.
Oh my gosh. They had their own drama. I mean, like, am I the drama? Yeah, you're
It's
the
like, yeah,
drama.
you are. It's you. You're the drama.
Yeah, you are the drama. Founded by a guy named Benjamin Roden. Um, that was an apocalyptic new religious movement, and they regarded themselves as a continuation of the General Association of Davidian Seventh day Adventists, which was established in 1935 by Victor Hotef. And Hotef was a Bulgarian immigrant, an SDA member, and he wrote several tracts called The Shepherd's Rod, and they called for reform. He's kind of like, I don't know, what was the guy's name? Martin Luther with the
Oh, hammering
things on the
his
door.
95
Yeah.
theses. I didn't actually do that.
Yeah.
It's not a big
Yeah,
deal. But
right,
okay.
right, right. Um, but they called for reform for the SDA church. And when you call for reform, people don't like that.
No.
So the SDA, yeah, the SDA leaders rejected his ideas. So Hotep was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go over here and do my own thing. So his followers moved to some land that was a little bit west of Waco, Texas, and they built their own community, which called it the Mount Carmel Center, and it became the headquarters for the movement. So that's kind of where the Branch Davidians broke off.
I
But Hotep
feel
died.
like um, if you're in a movement
Mm-hmm.
and you get to the point where everyone else has rejected you, so you have to go out on your own, and you choose to go somewhere and build a whole community to be self-sufficient, that is when you know that you in fact have turned into a cult. That's
Right,
a big flashing red light for you.
right. I mean, seriously.
Mm.
So Hotep died in 1955, and Benjamin Roden at that time claimed that he had what was a new message from God. So he wrote a series of letters to the Davidians and signed them and called them the Branch
Mm.
because he believed that's what was going to be the new name that Jesus was going to take. And so those who accepted his teachings became the Branch Davidians, and that's what they called themselves. So it's just like he kind of took over after Hotep died.
Mm-hmm.
And so so there was some drama there.
Oh, it's like what's his face who took over Scientology. What the Miscavige.
Yes.
Like
Hmm.
that. Another cult.
Yeah, yeah. So, when Karesh first joined the Branch Davidians, he just kind of, he played guitar, he sang in the church services and worship, and kind of low key in the
Mhm.
beginning, as you do when you first join a church.
Cult.
When you first join a cult or group, you're just kind of low key,
Yeah. Ease your
just kind of
way
learn.
in.
Yeah,
Learn the
yeah, yeah,
ropes.
yeah. By 1983, so he'd been around for a couple of years, he began claiming that he had this gift of prophecy. And so Ben Roden had died before Koresh came along. And the Branch Davidians was being run by his widow, Lois Roden. And even though she was in her 60s, it is speculated that
Right.
she and Koresh began a sexual relationship because he would have been like in his 20s,
I
late 20s,
mean,
early 30s.
you're adults. You do you.
Right, 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 right,
That's weird. It's weird. Mm.
right. Oh no, he would have been younger than that. No, no, no. Anyway,
He was a
sorry.
consenting adult, and that's all that matters.
He was. Yes, that's all that matters. Anyway, dates are hard.
Fuck them. It's fine.
Dates are hard. Anyway, it's like my brain. Math is hard. Anyway, um, so obviously the speculation did not please her son George, who was who felt like he was like next in line to inherit. Which here's another thing: if you're running like if you're running like a legit church, like you don't inherit it, okay?
No.
Like I feel like nobody inherits a church.
No. It's weird and creepy. I don't like
It
that.
is. So that's also I feel like how you know you're in a cult. Like if somebody's gonna inherit it.
Mm-hmm.
So George felt very threatened by David Koresh, who was still Vernon Howe at this time. He still felt very threatened by him because he felt like he was next in line to inherit the Branch Davidians. And David Koresh was moving in on his territory, claiming that he could do all this prophecy business and was kind of sleeping with his mom.
Ew.
Allegedly. 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 But anyway, I digress. But obviously, I mean, I feel like he probably was because it talks about how he moved up through the ranks fairly quickly,
Mm-hmm.
like faster than a lot of people did. And you know, George didn't like it. Did not like it because obviously he wanted to be the next one to run the
He's like,
Branch
that's
Davidians.
my cult. Go make your own cult.
Yeah. And so because Koresh was moving up, he was preaching more and it opened it up for him to be like a contender to take over.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of set them up to be rivals. All the drama. So much drama in this.
I mean, it has a little bit of everything. Rivals, sex, inappropriate sex.
Right. Oh, so much. So much. And oh, at one point, Koresh claimed that God ordained that he have a child with Lois Roden. And of course, like George was completely outraged by that. But then he also said that God told him to marry another woman within the Branch Davidians named Rachel Jones, which he did. That
Hmm.
was one of his wives. But you know, because
I want
that's
to just
another thing in cults. Men can have all the women.
gross.
It's so
Super
gross.
gross.
So obviously there was a power struggle that continued, and soon the Branch Davidians were forced to take sides, and Roden forced Koresh and his devoted followers off the property at Mount Carmel by gunpoint. Like he was just like had
Get
enough.
out.
He's
We're
just
done. Bye.
yes,
You
that's
crazy.
basic. That's basically what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So Koresh took his followers to Palestine, Texas, where he was free to preach his own message and recruit his new followers. And they lived there for 2 years. Um, they were roughing it, living in like old buses and tents. How he got the money to travel to Israel, I don't know, but he did.
Okay.
Uh, went on his little like, you know, I gotta go find Jesus or whatever. What is it called? What are those little trips called?
Pilgrimage.
Yeah, those.
Okay.
Yeah, pilgrimage.
Pilgrimage.
Yeah, my brain is words are hard. Yes, pilgrimage. Words are hard. Um, traveled to Israel and claimed he had a vision that he was the modern day prophet Cyrus. And in this 2 years, he was able to attract followers from around the US, a lot from California, people from the UK, Australia, and even Israel. So he had a lot of like outside
Mm-hmm.
people outside of Texas in his little group. And so because of his exile from the Branch Davidians, he began to spiral in his delusions and had a claim that God had granted him some strange powers, and that his ultimate fate would be martyrdom. So this is
Yay.
like his ultimate, and I'm just like, oh, jeez. And
Oh
so he
gosh.
was convinced through his conversations with God that Mount Carmel was the site, the earthbound site for the Davidic kingdom. So he absolutely had to return there. Like he had to take Mount Carmel back. And so he returns to Mount Carmel, and by that time George Roden had all but like driven it into the ground, because they
Hmm.
talked about like he once he took it over from his mom, that he basically had become like a tyrant and was running it like a dictator and being a real ass about things, and basically all the followers there were like ready to mutiny anyway.
Yeah, so they were like, dude, you're a dick. This is why we weren't gonna
Yeah,
choose you.
yeah. And so this is also alleged. Okay, this next part is alleged as
Okay.
well, because it's also fucking ridiculous. Like you're just like, is this real life? So the alleged part is that when Karesh comes back to Mount Carmel, that Roden is kind of, what's the word? Like he challenges him to a contest. Basically,
Do
like,
they have like a fucking duel or something? Like the hell?
well, it's whoever can raise the dead would be the leader. That's the contest.
And what happens when neither of them can actually raise the dead?
Well, here's this
Oh
alleged.
God.
Okay.
Okay.
So, allegedly, Roden exhumes a body of a woman who's been dead for 20 years. So, Karesh, which is illegal, you can't do that without like paperwork, police paperwork. You can't just dig up
Yeah,
a body,
right.
you know. So, Karesh goes to, he's like, aha, I've got him. So, Karesh goes to the police, who are like, we need proof. Okay. We need proof of this. So Karesh claims that he and 7 of his followers, who are also armed,
Convenient.
okay, yeah, convenient, go to Mount Carmel to get the photographic evidence of this dead woman who's been exhumed, and Roden trying to bring her back to life. And somehow in this, a gunfight breaks out. So that part's not alleged. A gunfight does break out. So the circumstances surrounding the gunfight is what's alleged.
Sure, sure.
Is what's he's like allegedly. Anyway, so a gunfight breaks out. Roden suffers a minor gunshot wound. Karesh et al. Are charged with attempted murder. Um, the 7 members are acquitted, and Karesh, his ended in a mistrial.
Huh.
So because it was just like they basically were like, "Oh, we just came to get pictures," but they didn't have a fucking camera on them one. So,
Huh.
I don't know.
Huh.
Anywho, uh Roden wound up killing a guy named Waymond Adair with an axe, who believed that Koresh sent this guy after him to kill him. So, he winds up going to jail, well, a mental institution,
Wow. That took a
because they
turn.
think he's yeah, because they think he's insane.
Well, I mean, he is
So,
insane, so it's
yes.
fair. They're all
So, like,
insane.
after all that, he winds up killing this guy with an axe because he thinks that David Koresh sent Wayman Adair to kill him. So, he goes to jail. And so, with him in this mental institution, that paves the way for David Koresh to ascend to
Return and
leadership
ascend to the
at Mount
throne or
Carmel.
whatever. God.
Yes.
I don't think I knew any
Yes.
of this. Okay.
Right. Right. So with Koresh there, he's he encourages men to engage in polygamy, multiple women, including underage girls.
Blech.
including his wife's 13-year-old sister, so the Rachel Jones.
Oh, that's awful.
He yes. So in 1990 is when he actually changed his name. August 28th, 1990
Hmm.
was when his name actually changed to David Koresh. And where was it
Does it say why? I mean,
in
like,
my
I'm
notes?
assuming that
Because
David is because they're
yes,
Davidians, but like, what the fuck is
yes,
Karesh? Where did that come
yes.
from?
Because okay, yes, official. Okay, August 28th, 1990, officially changed his name from Vernon Powell to David Koresh. David is King David,
Sure, sure.
Branch Davidians. Karesh is another like um translation of the biblical name of Cyrus the Great.
Oh,
So how he said that when
okay.
he went to Israel and he said that he was like a modern day version of the prophet
Right,
Cyrus.
right. Sure, sure.
So that's where the
Mm,
Koresh
mm.
came from. So yes, there was a meaning behind it. It wasn't just like
So you're saying
willy nilly, I guess.
basically his name is David Cyrus,
Yes.
like, isn't related to Billy Ray Cyrus.
I don't know about that. Although he was trying to get into music. I mean, that's
Mm,
fair. I don't know.
okay, cool, cool. Just checking.
But yeah. So they were living their lives at Mount Carmel, but this whole thing with the getting busy with the underage girls is what started getting them in trouble. And
Fair, fair. Ugh.
Texas C yeah, yes. And they also had a shit ton of guns. They were also
Yes.
kind of like
Um,
stockpiling guns.
underage
You know.
sex, and lots of guns. Also, big, bright, red flags.
Yes. Yes, yes. It says Texas CPS investigated for around 6 months in 1992, but they failed to turn up any like real evidence. And basically, anytime they would like send somebody in, that Koresh would assign false husbands to all the women to be like each woman had their own husband, even though that wasn't the case. And he would teach the children not to discuss stuff with strangers, outsiders.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, don't talk about what goes on. Like, don't talk about Fight Club.
Yeah.
Don't talk about cult. We don't
Yeah,
talk
we
about cult.
we don't tell people things.
Yeah. So, but the siege of Mount Carmel began February 28th, 1993. The ATF raided Mount Carmel Center. Started with a gun battle, and what happened? Koresh received word from his brother-in-law, who was a postal worker. And this guy was asked by a journalist directions to Mount Carmel. And so, because this guy was a postal worker and this journalist asked him how to get to Mount Carmel, he knew something was going
Mm-hmm.
on. And so he went and he told David Koresh, like, hey, something's happening. This journalist, they're planning something.
Hmm.
Because plus CPS had been there. They knew
Mm-hmm.
stuff had been going on. And so that gave them like just a small window of time to get somewhat not completely prepared for it,
Right.
but somewhat. They knew something was coming. And so there's a lot of speculation. Nobody knows what really happened. There's a lot
Right.
of both sides. Nobody knows who shot first or what happened. Really, honestly.
Right. I mean,
Some people. I
yeah.
mean, to be fair, the ATF said they shot first. They said ATF shot first. Some people who were there say the ATF agent it was a misfire. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
all kinds of crazy. But shots rang out. There was a gun battle. Um, 4 ATF agents died and 6 Branch Davidians died. Shortly after this initial gun battle, the FBI took over because they have jurisdiction after matters involving deaths of federal agents. So, because of those ATF agents dying, they
Mm-hmm.
were able to come in and take over, which I'm not sure that was a good thing or not. It's like,
One would suggest maybe not,
yeah.
but
And they started negotiations, and it lasted 51 days. And Karesh had been seriously injured by a gunshot in that initial battle. And he and his closest peeps in the group, um, they would negotiate delays so he could write more religious documents.
oh,
that
good, a
he,
nice manifesto. It's always nice to have
yes,
one of those.
yes, because he insisted that it needed to be done before he was captured.
Mm-hmm.
Something it was imperative before the FBI captured him or before he was surrendered. But it said that the FBI was treating this whole thing like a hostage crisis. But
Well, now we know better, but okay.
what was so weird is that he was releasing videos
Hmm.
to the FBI of his people saying like, we're not hostages, we're just here living our lives, like families who were there, you know. But the FBI is telling the government these people are hostages. It was all just it was just a bad situation
Well,
all the way around. It
because
was,
I mean,
yeah.
I guess at some point it's like, well, but like the kids specifically are hostages. They've never had a chance to know
Yes.
anything different. And one would argue
Right.
that a lot of the women are also hostages because, again, they're just mere women folk.
Right. And a lot of them didn't have a lot to say.
Hmm.
But some of them were so brainwashed though that I really think that
Yeah.
they didn't believe that they were hostages. They really
Stockholm
probably thought that,
syndrome. Woohoo.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely, absolutely. So, like I said, this went on for 51 days. Like they would call
Mm-hmm.
and talk to David Koresh, and I mean it was just back and forth. But it ended on April 19th, 1993. AG Janet Reno approved recommendations from the FBI to remove the Branch Davidians by force. It was just like, this has gone on long enough. We're going to take it down. And so they used combat vehicles to blow holes in the buildings and pumped in tear gas, and obviously, you're going to blow a hole in somebody's building and they've got weapons, they're going to shoot back. So,
Shocker. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So the Branch Davidians responded with gunfire, and FBI responded with grenades and more tear gas, and somehow a fire broke out. And the FBI would like to say that the Branch Davidians set it on purpose,
Mm-hmm.
but nobody knows for sure how
Well, and I
this,
mean,
again, allegedly, nobody knows for sure how this fire broke out.
gas and
Right. And I'm
holes
thinking,
and guns
and if
and
you're
like,
throwing grenades,
yeah. I mean, like,
right. Because they were
it,
saying that the Branch
it's
Davidians were pouring gasoline on things, and I'm like, but y'all were throwing grenades.
I mean, like, I'm not
So,
saying they didn't help spread it, but they might not have started.
right.
I mean, the fact that a fire started is not a surprise.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So the circumstances around the fire starting are highly disputed.
Mm-hmm.
But explosion occurred, and by the end of it, it was all smoke, and 79 Branch Davidians were barricaded in the building and they died, and 21 of them were children under the age of 16. And Karesh, 33, died of a gunshot wound to the head, and it's really unknown if it was suicide or if someone killed him. And some little tidbits.
Mm-hmm.
In 2004, Zach Baggins
Oh, fuck that guy.
bought David Koresh's 1968 Camaro for $37,000.
Why? Why are you this asshole? Like, it's not that's not a cool haunted thing. That's just a sick thing. Stop it.
Because it was at Waco, because it was there and damaged. That's why.
Gross.
And Timothy McVeigh and Terry Nichols, the two guys who did the Oklahoma City bombing, cited uh, what happened at Waco, Texas, as motivation for why they carried out the Oklahoma City bombing
Ugh.
near the second anniversary of Waco
I had
in
forgotten
19
that. Yeah.
in yeah, in 1995. And that's my cult story about the Branch Davidians and David Koresh.
That's horrendous. Like, I mean, it's one of those stories that, like, I've seen fictionalized versions, I've seen
Right.
documentaries about, and, like, I remember there being weird things where, like, actually a lot of the kids did leave, I think.
They
Not all
did
of them.
get
Like, not a
several,
lot of the
yes,
kids,
they,
because I mean, it was a 51 days is a long ass time, so
and
lots of
that was
people
part of the
left. Yeah.
negotiations. Yeah, that was part of the negotiations, was getting, I think that was their main goal, was to get a lot of the women and children out of
Mhm.
there. And they did get several of the children out. But like I said, 21
Mhm.
kids under the age and under the age of 16 did die in that fire, and a lot of it was smoke
It was like it
inhalation.
was fire related. It was,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah, it was
awful and
smoke
horrible.
inhalation. Yeah.
Um, I remember Criminal Minds, I guess, had an episode where
And
they
that
reference
guy's
it.
name in that episode was Cyrus.
Oh, that's
The guy
right.
who was the leader
Mm.
of that cult was Cyrus, and I was like, "Oh my
Oh,
gosh."
yeah. But, like, they have conversations about Waco at least once in the series,
Mhm.
and, you know, it's one of those things where, like, a lot of mistakes were made. We know better now, and I'm like, we really hadn't had a cult situation like that before.
Right.
So I don't think anyone had the vaguest idea how to deal with it. So
Right.
they did wrong. They did wrong.
Lots of things wrong.
But okay, here we are. But they did
Yes.
manage to get a lot of people out. So no shade on that.
Yeah.
Cause
That was more background on, like, the
mm-hmm.
cult itself than, like, the actual Waco thing, but
Right, right. Well
yeah.
no, but I appreciate that because I'm like, I know about the Waco thing. So
Right,
like
right.
I
Because, yeah,
just
the cult itself was like, all the drama, like, geez.
well and that he himself was born to a 14-year-old who was with at least 3 people within the first 7 years of his life, and
Right.
that his dad was an adult who left his mom because he wanted a different teenager. I mean, like, ew.
Yeah.
I'm not
And then it said that
surprised he's fucked up.
he didn't meet his real dad until he was, like, 17 or 18 years old. It was
Yeah.
just,
Mm,
yeah. And I'm sure, with having the dyslexia and the poor eyesight, like, if he didn't get the help he needed for that, then,
mhm.
because even back then it was like people just didn't give a shit
Yeah.
about stuff like that. It's like,
Like, you just need to do better. Stop being shitty.
yeah, exactly. But anyway, that is the story of
That
David Koresh and the Branch Davidians in
that is
Waco,
an
Texas.
excellent story because again, like, I don't know that I remembered he changed his name to David. But it makes sense. I thought it just was like a nice symmetry. It's like, oh, Branch Davidians, his name's David, blah blah blah.
Yeah, right.
But that Karesh was like, what the fuck? All right.
Right, right.
Ugh. All right, I'm gonna change my name. And I'm gonna be a culty leader, a culty cult leader.
A culty cult
A
leader.
culty cult leader. In my cult, let's see, I have to, of course, convince everyone that we need to leave society because they don't accept us and build our own town. Very important.
Right, right.
I will say we will still have internet though, because like
Right.
Netflix. Well, hey, got a Netflix and chill.
Yes, absolutely.
Hmm. Well, there you go. There you have it. That was an excellent story,
Yes.
Claire. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, on that note, I guess that it must be time for tarot
It
time
must.
with April. Spooky, spooky. Gotta love our culty cult time. All right. I have, since the last recording, shuffled these, done my own separate drawing for myself, and shuffled them again. So if the Pope comes up, I swear to whatever thing you believe in, I am not doing this on purpose, okay? Like, I don't want it. All right, Claire, tell me when to stop.
Okay.
I kind of feel like somehow David Koresh took Achy Breaky Heart and melded it with I Came in Like a Wrecking Ball, and that was the theme of his life. Stealing the name Cyrus, basically, to go with it. So, what can I say?
Right.
Or no, maybe that was the FBI. I came in like a wrecking
Maybe.
ball.
Yeah, that's hard to say. Stop.
Alright. I think it's this way. I have to remember which way to turn them.
Oh.
Because I shuffle them and then I'm like, which way are they primarily facing? Because at
Right.
this point,
Right.
they're a little mixed. All right, here we go.
Yes.
1, 2. We shall start our week with the 5 of Swords. It's probably not great.
Okay. But it's not the Pope.
Our middle week will be Queen of Swords, who we discovered is actually a badass bitch.
She is.
And we end our week with the King of Coins. There's no Pope, guys. No Pope.
Okay.
Pope-free week. We don't have to learn this week. You're welcome.
The Pope. It's a Pope-free week.
The
Yes.
Pope-free week. All right, the 5 of Swords. Petty and self-involved thoughts keep you from noticing the people around you. You're thinking only of yourself, and this is distracting you from the greater good. What the hell?
Okay. We're distracted from the
Well,
greater good. Okay.
interesting. Sometimes you have to be tricky in order to stick up for yourself. Intent is everything. So I don't really know.
Oh. Okay.
Um. Okay, cool. I guess maybe because, like, in this card, one cat is holding all the swords and the other cat is holding no swords, and the cat holding no swords looks sad. He's like, oh, I got no swords.
Aw.
So.
No swords for me.
Interesting. Interesting. All right. The Queen of Swords, as a fun reminder, doesn't give a damn about your motivations or what happens to you because of your actions. She's big picture girl. She's incredibly smart and intimidatingly smart, and she doesn't have time or patience to mess around with you, all right? I like that. I feel that. So, she's our strong, independent, badass Queen of Swords. That's what I remembered vaguely. But we're going to end our week with the King of Pentacles. Pentacles, there you are. The king is a bit conservative. He's grounded and centered and unquestionably in charge. He doesn't need to shout or wave his arms to get attention. He pretty much just has to enter a room because he has an intense presence. He has a very strong work ethic and is easy to respect. He's strong and quiet and hard to forget. Cool. It's about being grounded. The King of Pentacles is respected and loved by his people and family. So, like, looks like we're going to be kind of like selfish assholes at the beginning of the week, or someone in our life is a selfish asshole and we have to, like, be tricky about getting our shit.
Okay. Gotcha.
But there's also some badassery and confidence in, like, not dealing with your stupidity and shit with the queen.
Gotcha.
With the queen. And then we're going to end our week very grounded because people love us. Because I guess of how we dealt with the earlier situations, I don't really know. It's an interesting spread.
Yes.
So, there you have it. No Pope. Pope-free.
Pope-free week.
All right. Let's see. what's going to be our topic for next week on our Wheel of Fate. We love our Wheel of Fate. Okay, are you ready?
Yep.
I'm not sure if I'm ready.
I'm not sure if I'm ready. What is it?
Dumb ways to
Ways to
die.
die. Yes.
So many dumb ways to die. That's exciting. That'll be fun. That'll be a funny, fun one. That brings me joy. All right. Well, thank you for joining us on our second foray into cults in the last little bit.
Third.
Third foray into cults. You're right. This is our third cult. Guys, there's so many more
Third.
cults ahead. God, and in fact, I suppose a cult could make an appearance in Dumb Ways to Die, because it feels like a pretty bad
I
role.
mean, I feel like they all just, yeah. I mean, the Rajneesh didn't really, like, die.
No, well, but like the main dude did. He died. Whether or not from natural causes, I argue is perplexing. I don't know.
Right,
It's
right.
true. But like, I don't know, maybe drinking a bunch of like cyanide or whatever because a comet is overhead feels
Yeah,
like a dumb way to
right,
die.
right. Or because, a guy tells you to.
Right. Or because the FBI or ATF or someone within your own cult decided to set a fire. I don't know. Either way,
Right.
a fire was started. That feels like a dumb way to die because you could have just been like, "I'm out. Bye. Here I come. Don't
Like,
shoot me."
nah, bruh, I'm done.
It's that whole goddamn martyr shit. I'm like,
I know, right?
that
It's like,
because you know that like the handful of people who did escape, even from like the fire, because some people got out,
yeah.
of course. Yeah, you know they have to have been like shaking their head, going, "He had to fucking say he was gonna die a martyr, didn't he?
Right,
Couldn't fucking say he was gonna live a long fucking healthy life, die of old age. No,
right.
no. What are you gonna do? Anyway, that was fun.
Yes.
I got distracted. Sorry, guys. Well, until next time, you can find us in all the things and at all the places at.
Brunch and Judge.
Please follow, like, subscribe, share, tweet if that's still allowable. I'm uncertain in the rules of Twitter these days.
I started to say
And
it's sketchy.
I know it's like, is it? Are we allowed? Are we doing that now? Are we letting it go? No, yet? Oh,
I don't know.
mm.
We don't know.
But you can always send topics to us for our Wheel of Fate. Any particular stories you'd like us to do, or any special culty cults that you want us to cover next time, you can send those to us at
brunchandjudge@gmail.com.
So until next time, keep on brunching.
And keep on judging.
Bye.
Bye.